What up? This is Rama Screen, covering movies, TV, and entertainment, and we're doing another interview. And I'm psyched, I'm stoked to have my good friend Tristan James Jensen,
What's up, guys?
whom I actually already interviewed back in the day, but there was some technical difficulties on my part. So now we're gonna have conversation again with Tristan. He is a writer, director, producer, correct? And a
Yep.
self-taught filmmaker. So we're gonna discuss more about that. And also, Tristan has a new project. Tristan, before we get to your new film here, for my fans at home, talk a bit about. I mean, did you wake up one day and suddenly decide, you know what, I want to be a filmmaker? What's the
I think,
motivation here?
I watched movies a lot when I was a kid.
Hmm.
And I mean, like, I remember that my mom would let me watch rated R movies with her. She'd like, if there was like sex in it, she'd cover my eyes, but not necessarily when, like, in Resident Evil where, the laser like cuts off the dude's fingers. I was like, ah! And she let me watch that. I'd watch like South Park. That's where I learned a lot of, like, I was a kid and I would like find out about the world through South Park. I love
Good
this South Park.
choice.
But I just watched a lot of movies, and I remember the first time I made one, I was at like this Boy Scout Cub Scout meeting thing at my old elementary school, and I took my stepdad's flip phone, and I was like, hey dude, let's go make a little movie. And so we made like a little horror movie thing that was like a found footage style thing, and it was nothing. But I made a bunch of shorts, and then I started doing Lego stop motion, and then I made my first short film when I was 13, I think. Maybe 13, maybe 14 actually.
Hmm.
And then I just kept doing it, and then I get to where I just get good enough to, make the movies more like real movies.
Now, I too learn my worldview from South Park, especially, especially whenever some shit going on. I'll be like, oh, I'll just blame Canada. Whatever happens, I'll just like,
Dude, South Park, it's very funny.
it's very funny.
And people who will watch it be like, that's terrible. Like, they just can't laugh, man.
I
Like,
know. Well, I know last time we talked, you had this project called The Unearthing, right? Remember that?
oh yeah, that was my first feature movie. It's like 53 minutes, but I guess that counts. So
Okay, no problem. And how many short films before that?
there was like a bunch of like Lego stop motion little crappy things I made home movies, but then I'd say 402 would count as like the first real short, and that was 2012 that came out, and then I did a movie called Insight, which ended up being like an hour and 40 minutes,
Yeah.
but it was so bad that it just doesn't count as like one of my movies for real, and that was it. And then I did the Unearthing the next year, and it took a long time to like get that done with the edits and get it out. But then when it did go out, I got a distribution deal on it with Indie Rights. Really
Cool.
great company for indie filmmakers, actually. If you have like a feature length film you're trying to get out for distribution, Indie Rights is a really good option.
Now, I've talked with a lot of independent filmmakers, which is what you are. Some of the challenges include, of course, budget, financing. And some people would tell me, yeah, that, I have to find financiers or I would have to raise fund through Indiegogo or Kickstarter. And the other challenge, of course, is trying to find the right people, the right team to work with, the people who would believe in your vision, your crew and your cast. Talk a bit about first about uh, for you, for yourself. How do you raise fund for this new project, Beguiled Company?
Well, okay, so I, all Beguiled Company itself was just all my bank account, like everything I had. So,
Wow, that's
so like
impressive.
yeah, so like I
Uh,
worked as a server at this restaurant called the Roadside,
mm,
and I saved all my money, and I knew I was like, okay, it's time to make another movie. Like, I made a short right after the Unearthing, and then I hadn't done anything, so I was like, all right, and I wanted, and when you start out with the idea, it's different than when you actually write it down and then when you actually film it. But I just spent all the money I had in the world, and then like a bunch of stuff happened to me in my life that I was just like, I hit rock bottom in my life. It was terrible, and it had nothing to do with the movie. The movie is like the only thing, like the only reason I was living. Like, honestly, it felt like that. And like I got my money taken away from me. Like, I had no place to live, and so like I was living with my parents afterwards. But like I remember I left the main shoot, and it's like, okay, we just finally got all the action scene from the climax done, like all this action's done. Like, only thing I'm gonna have to do is like pick up scenes and like side scenes, with not the main cast. And I paid the cast the money that I said I was going to pay them. And I got in my Jeep and I started the car and had like a little bit of gas left, and I had $25. I had $25. That's it. And I slept in my car, I think, that night, or slept in my grandma's house or something.
Wow.
And it was like, so I don't get, I tried to have a funding from Beguiled Company, but I think to make the funding successful, which is something I'm going to try again to get more of a post budget, you need to really market that, and you need to like push that on social media. You need to, really have like a campaign going for that. And a lot of people just throw it on, like what I did, just throw it on, and then they get nothing. I think if you are an independent filmmaker and you want to make a movie and you need funds, like you're gonna have to make a movie that doesn't need any money. So you're gonna try to find actors for free, your locations for free, everything for free, which really, people who work hard deserve to be paid. But you just start at like a lower level, and then eventually you get better and better, or you just save up as much money as you can and you pay for it out of pocket. Because I haven't had real funding ever. So, and it's just eventually you get really good at not, getting everything without paying for it. And there's so many people out there. I mean, I live in Minnesota, which is very, like, people are really nice, but I bet everywhere, no matter where you are in the world, there's a lot of people that will help, independent artists out for free.
Exactly, and that's why I respect filmmakers such as yourself and artists who, how do you call that, pretty much go out far and beyond to make their vision come true in whatever means necessary, through whatever means necessary. Because I remember this masterclass commercial with Spike Lee. I don't know if you've seen it online.
A master what commercial?
Spike Lee's teaching masterclass about filmmaking online.
I heard about that. I saw that on like Facebook ads or whatever.
Exactly, and in that ad, he said like in his first movie, I'm paraphrasing here, but in his first movie, he was the caterer, he was the director, he was the actor, he was the assistant director. Yeah, he said that I had to be every one of those guys for my first project because we didn't have the money. But sometimes that's how you got to do it. So right.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm the cinematographer, the editor.
Yeah.
Like I get my friends and I'm like, okay, here's how you use the equipment. All right, here's what you got to do to record audio. Like put the boom mic here, try to get it like this, and that's exactly what you have to do. Like for real.
Exactly.
But it's really possible. Like if you look at when you'll see later the trailer for Beguiled Company. If you look at that, like that was made with like nothing. Like I had money to buy like props and pay the actors a little bit, but that's like a movie made with nothing. And if you just go out and you know what you're gonna do, you plan it out, you can actually do it, and you can pull off like action scenes. You can pull off, this and that, whatever.
All right, let's get right to it. Let's show my viewers your trailer for your new film, Beguiled Company. Here we are. Let's take a look.
We're all just slaves to society, man. Holding up the pyramid for the lives of the world.
Careful, guys. He robbed one shitty Perkins, and now society is about to collapse.
What you guys are doing is insane.
Singing in the rain. Just singing in the rain.
Wow, that was some trailer, Tristan.
Hey, it's what we can do, the best I could do, man.
Now, hit me up here. There's some catchy music. Could you talk a bit about who do we credit that for?
Oh yeah, so that's this artist. He does kind of a blend of electronic and metal, and he goes by the name Blue Stolly. And that song's particular is called Corner, and it's from his self-titled album Blue Stolly. I think if I'm gonna send you the info, you can put it in the link or something. But that album, like I remember listening to it and thinking about making movies a lot, like since I was in junior high. And that particular song, I've been waiting so long to make a trailer to like that part of the song that you hear in the trailer, and I finally did. But I didn't like pay him or anything. I wish I could. I don't have the money to do that.
That's totally fine. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. This is about millennials, anarchist millennials. Can you speak briefly to the plot synopsis of Beguiled Company?
Okay. So I literally just say one simple little thing, and that is a group of millennials go on a downward spiral of anarchic mayhem.
Okay.
And that's literally all you need to know. The trailer right now you'll know, like you see it. It doesn't have a whole lot of the plot in it.
Yeah.
I just tried to make it more of like the action from the movie. But it's a character-based drama. So if I really was going to show, a lot of the plot, it would just give away kind of what happens.
I see.
But they're starting out, and they rob the place. Or one of the characters robs the place he works at. A Perkins. It's really funny. We filmed in a real Perkins, and we had fake tills with fake money in it. We just ripped it. Then they go up that, and they rob this Walmart, and that's another thing. That's something for another day. But we did that too. And then it just they keep pushing the line until they're robbing people at gunpoint, and then like they're going into this guy's house who didn't get convicted of a crime for they think this guy is a child molester, and they go into his house and they murder him with bats, like, and it just keeps getting worse until like some of the characters are like, wait a minute, this isn't okay, and then the other characters are just like so far out of their minds that like you just get to see how that plays out, and it's really interesting, I think.
So from Unearthing to this, it's a different tone, obviously, right?
Oh, wait. Oh, my God. Same characters. It has some of the same characters in it, though.
Exactly. So what's the inspiration for this storytelling approach? Why did you decide this story as your follow-up to Unearthing?
Well, so I actually did one movie after the Unearthing.
Oh, okay.
It's so garbage. It's so garbage. It was called Freedom and Isolation. And it was about these two girls who develop a relationship pushing each other's boundaries. And that movie was bad, but it was like it kind of had this weird like spacey experimental tone to it with their like relationship, and then of course the ending, like she has like an abusive father, you find out, and then the ending is them like fighting back against him, and they kill him, and then but that movie jumped back and forth from like their relationship like coming together to like their relationship breaking apart, and you don't know what happened in the middle. And I was like, that movie was just bad, and I really wanted to make a movie that was good, to be like, okay, I can make a movie that's good, like I'm way better now than I was then. And it wasn't necessarily like I was trying to make a movie that had a different tone, but usually the movies I come up with are violent and like there's a lot of violence in them, I guess. And this Beguiled Company, like I remember I was looking a lot at like how people in my generation, like, the millennials, or what are we now, generation something else, I don't know what it is, but like the people who are, they're not teens anymore, but they're not quite, middle-aged.
Okay.
And a lot of them, I look at what they say on Facebook, and I look at what how people kind of judge things and whatnot, and I was like, you know what, this would make an interesting movie. Somehow that came to be, and I wanted to make a movie where it was like young people my age going out and fucking shit up. I don't know if you believe that or not. Sorry.
That's fine.
They go out and they fuck shit up, and they're not really right.
Yeah.
And they're not. And in this movie, they're not necessarily doing it for actual ideals. They're just like, yeah, like they want to do it because it's fun.
Yeah.
Because I see people do that. Like, I have some friends that go and join those anarchy, what do they call them? Anarchy gatherings or anarchy protests or whatever. It's like they're not really doing it. Like some of them are, but some of them are not really doing it because, in my opinion, that they're really like into the cause. It's like, oh, okay, cool, let's go. Like put on a black shirt, clean out the deadwood, But that's a Pink Floyd reference. But
yeah, I got you.
I don't know necessarily. The Unearthing was, out of all the movies I've made or wanted to make, The Unearthing was the most light in tone. And I have more movies ideas that are like that, but I was ready to like balls to the walls and make a movie that was very, very smashy, very, a little bit, not vulgarity, but a lot more maturity to it.
Now,
The Unearthing is a very childish movie.
Yeah, no, I totally understood, but I also want to ask about that scene in the trailer that I mentioned to you through email that reminded me of a Clockwork Orange.
Oh,
so
yeah,
when he was singing in the rain. Was that inspiration? Was a Clockwork Orange an inspiration for this?
Okay, actually yes. Okay. Because I think I'd seen the movie once. Yeah, I'd seen it once before I had made the Beguiled Company. But Alex, I remember the first time I saw anything from the movie, I was putting in the Blu-ray disc for Sucker Punch, which a lot of people hate. I'm going to keep that Blu-ray disc forever. I like that movie. Screw you. It's nuts. It's really dumb. Nothing mixed together sometimes, but it's beautiful. I love it. They had a trailer for the Clockwork Orange 20th anniversary, or no, it can't be 20th. It had to have been whatever anniversary.
Yeah.
50th, maybe? 1960.
The 70s, I believe. But yeah, my math is a little off.
Anniversary edition,
Yeah.
And I remember seeing like like seeing the guy say, a bit of the old ultra violence, and then watching, hearing the Beethoven in the background, and the scene where his eyes are like, man, I'm like, wow, that looks cool. So I ended up watching it, and I was like, you know what, like this idea of them going out and they're just, in that movie. And I haven't read the book, Confessions. I haven't read the book. I've read parts of the book, not the whole thing. And it's just like they live in kind of like a dystopian world, and they're young people like rebelling. And I thought, well, that's kind of like what this movie's about, But that part is just like, that's a classic scene. And Brendan, the character that's doing that under the mask, he has a lot of movie references. Like he references The Dark Knight, he references Shrek, he references Rick and Morty, he references South Park. Like a lot of the lines I give him are just straight up from another movie, and he just says it in a different way, or even the same way sometimes. And but in this movie specifically, a big plot point revolves around A Clockwork Orange. So I shopped online and I bought like the edition of A Clockwork Orange that didn't have the 21st chapter, because
cool.
So you might know this, but Kubrick was reading the American version, which when they decided to publish it, they didn't have the 21st chapter where Alex, like, I think he gets a family and he, like, he's not evil clearly. They just ended it with and I was cured, or was I think is kind of like the ending. So you're like, oh no, is he cured, is he not? And so the movie omits that, and I actually think that that's a good choice, because it kind of is like, what, like you're just gonna have the last chapter be like, oh, he's good, like that kind of ruins the fun of it. So that specific idea there, and then just the book itself is in so many scenes. So I went out and I got that edition that didn't have it, and then I got the Penguin Classics, the one with the milk glass on it. And those two books are very important to the plot, but if I told you why, it would ruin part of the movie.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
No spoilers. So Brendan himself is inspired heavily by Alex. He kind of idolizes Alex from The Clockwork Orange, and so he's tying people up, and he's just gonna sing that. He's just gonna have some fun with it, I guess. So
now, I also saw on the trailer on YouTube, where you had it on. There was the title, of course, underneath the video. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the movie was shot with some sort of. Okay, what is that?
The GH5.
Okay.
I'm so glad you asked.
Let's talk a bit about that.
So
yeah,
this is a new camera. You know how everybody's shooting movies on DSLRs?
Okay.
Well, this is a mirrorless camera. So I've got my GH5 here, and it came out in May of last year. And so as far as I know, this is the first movie to be shot on this, but I bet there'll be a lot of independent films shot on it. There's already a lot of shorts. This is the first feature length. So it's mirrorless. It shoots in true cinema 4K. It's got a 10-bit color space with 422, like how it recognizes colors in like a group, or whatever. Yeah. I don't even, honestly though, like I can like feed you the specs. I don't even know what half of them mean. I just like know if I shoot it, it works for some things. And I've got the Metabone speed booster on there, so it's like a 35 millimeter film frame when it kind of does some magic with the light. But yeah, this is the baby I shot it on. I've got my 24 millimeter lens. I mean, this is the same lens I use for the Unearthing too, for most of the shots. But this is the first feature film, as far as I'm aware, and I've looked. As far as I'm aware, the first feature film shot on the GH5, and this is a revolutionary camera. Like, it is so awesome.
Really?
And I bet you a lot of indie guys will be shooting on this now. If not, they'll be shooting on the Sony Alphas. But I didn't want the full frame look. I prefer to make it be sort of similar to Super 35 millimeter. Also, I don't particularly think the look of the Alpha cameras matches the look I'm going for my movie. The GH5, however, boom. And I mean, with the Cinelike D, and all the nerds watching your video right now are like, whoa, right now, with the Cinelike D picture profile, which is one I use. A lot of people use Vlog. And the 10-bit color space with the 422, like there's so much info. Like I'm looking at my editor, it's like I don't even know how to. Wow. I can't even use DaVinci Resolve to like make all this worthwhile.
Yeah. It's
like that good. So I'll be shooting on this for a while. And when I do a different production, maybe if a bigger one, I get a different camera. This will be the B cam. Definitely. But I'm keeping it as my A cam. I love it.
You said that this was the first one that you know of being shot with that.
And I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Who gave you that idea the first time? I mean, how'd you come across the idea to shoot with that?
Oh, I mean, I'm a nerd, dude. I look at like all the new cameras coming out. Like,
okay.
Like I was like, oh, dude, the Sony's coming out. Like I was thinking of getting the GH4, but I needed this. There's like a 5-axis image stabilizer, and when I have like crackhead hands, so like when I'm holding my camera, the image stabilizer really keeps it stable, way stable than I could with my Canon DSLR, and that's why I had to get. It was $2,000, which was like 1,000 something more than the GH4 was at the time. But I needed this, you know. I wanted 60 frames per second in 4K so I could do the slow motion scene. You see it at the end of the trailer with the lighter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's more to it, but I needed for that too. And you know, I was just looking at all the cameras coming out, and I'd been following the GH5 for like half a year, I think maybe a year, since they announced it in like I think it was like 2017 sometime, 2016 I think. Yeah, 2016 they announced it, and I wanted it, and then I bought it right away. So you know, nobody's putting together a feature film like that right afterwards. I bought it for the movie when it came out almost. So that's why, I mean, and I've looked and I've searched feature films on GH5, and people are asking, can you shoot a feature film on a GH5? Like, well, you can shoot a feature film on anything. Like, why are you asking that? But, you know, I'm pretty positive it's the first one shot on it, and I'm proud of that because it's a powerhouse camera, and I love it.
So, the Beguiled Company, I mean, this is the trailer, looks good. When will the movie come out? What's the plan?
Oh, man, so here's the thing. I want it out before fall or by fall of 2019.
Okay.
And I have to like work. So I work in the local film industry in Minnesota. So I'll be like director of photography on films. I did one film, Scarlet Rose, super good. I will shoot weddings. I'll edit random stuff. I'm doing behind the scenes for this awesome World War I movie called Over There. I was an extra in their last film, Wonderland. And so like I'll just get random jobs, you know, here and there, but I'm not making a whole lot of money. Like I'm living at my grandparents' house. Like I said, I was homeless before, so you know, like I'm like the freeloading millennial here. But yeah, I could sit there on my computer all day and edit it, but I would have to pay for myself to live, especially since I'm leaving here soon. So it really depends on if I can get more money for post production. And there's a couple people I'm talking to right now, so that might get sped up a little bit. But at the latest, fall of next year. At the earliest, you know, fall of this year or winter, but you know, that's like unlikely in my opinion. Maybe.
Hey, when the premiere's up, I mean, or when the premiere's happening, invite me and we'll cover it again.
Dude,
okay?
I will. I mean, a plane ticket's probably expensive, but if I can afford it, dude, you will be the first person out of state I will invite to come back.
yeah, no worries. We can talk the specifics later, definitely.
Right. Also, if you want, like, if anybody out there liked the movie, go like our Facebook page because that's the best way to keep up with, you know, what's going on with the movie, when it's coming out, when the next trailer's out, stuff like that.
Definitely, I'll share your links on the video description box. Now, before we end our interview here, I want to ask also. You mentioned earlier something along the line, and I apologize if I'm misparaphrasing this, but there were times when you fell down, and then movie saved you. How is that? How did movie save you? Can you elaborate?
People who know me really well know that, and it's kind of sad to say this, but the thing that I like care about like more than anything, and I mean, obviously, if someone put a gun to my head or a gun to the camera, like, or a gun to my family's head or a gun to the camera and said, which one is it going to be? I'd be like, okay, you have to shoot the camera. But, you know, like, what I care about more than anything I think in the world is this, what it seems like is making films. I live to do it. Like, if I'm not doing one, I'm thinking of the next one. I even think of, like, the next 5 ones I want to make while I'm doing one. You know, since the stories are interconnected, that gets really difficult. But, you know, I was just, you know, I'd gotten out of a relationship that was just a horrible ending, and there was a lot more to it, you know, like I actually put some of that in the movie. So like you take some of that emotion that I was like feeling, and I was like, well, what if the character can feel that somehow and we can make that into the movie? Or, oh, I noticed this, like, let's take that aspect from this person I know that was involved and let's put them in the movie a little bit, you know, not to like get back at them, but because like it's a really real human kind of thing. Yeah, you know, I live to make movies, and if I couldn't make movies, I'd probably want to just die, honestly. You know, that's what kept me going. And I even, you know, I'll share this with you right now. I got the first half of the movie done, and I spent a whole month, and I wasn't doing the movie. You know, like I was like, oh, we got to plan more shoots, but it was like, oh, this is too complicated. Like I have to get like a golf course, and I need all these extras, and there's like a big shootout and like a big action scene and all these people, and it's like I can't do this. I don't even have the actor for the drug dealer guy, and like I was consuming intoxicants too much. Like I was you know, and it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna escape my problems. It was just that's what I was doing, you know, like I'm gonna might regret this, so maybe I'm not gonna tell you exactly what I was doing. But it was like party drugs and sort of party drugs and stuff like that, and drinking and then somehow I was like, because it was that all that pain. Somehow I was like, you know what? Like if I don't make this movie, like I don't care if I live. And then I was like, well, it's working out. Like I can get the scheduling, and I got Majestic Oaks Golf Club said, okay, you can come film here, and I was like, ooh, and then I was like, oh, okay, and I started thinking about the movie again, and a month from filming from when we stopped filming the last one, I started filming the second half. Sorry, and then I just picked back up. My life picked right back up, and I was good to go until all the way through the movie. I finished filming, and now it's like, woo, movie.
Now,
So yeah,
no, it's okay. Thanks for sharing that. I appreciate it. Now, that goes along with what I always mention to whenever people ask or advice. I'm not the biggest advice or the best advice giver ever, but I tell them, like, first of all, ask what do you want. Ask yourself what do you want, and then ask number two. The second question is how badly do you want it. So if somebody, hey Rama, I want to be a film score composer, because he's talented in music, but he's doing this other, or he's doing juggling other stuff at the same time. I'm like, dude, you're getting your focus divided here. Either you become a composer or you're not. So and some people would also say, I gotta be an author because this thing that the story that I have in my head just keeps ringing. I gotta put it down in pen. I gotta put it in writing. It's something, yeah. So that's good. What you're pursuing your passion. A lot of people only can wish or just think of it, or be like, oh, I want to, but there's this, So
yeah.
I'm glad that you're pursuing it. I know it's tough. I'm pursuing my dream, and it's tough. So I get the feeling. I totally know it. So but you are one step ahead than everybody else if you're pursuing your dreams, because you're not living everybody's regular life, basically. So that's a good thing.
And I totally agree. I see a lot of people too. A lot of people that talk about wanting to do this or wanting to do that, and I always tell them, okay, do it. Like just do it. Like like Shia LaBeouf, just do it. Like literally, like it's and I don't know if people think that they're not going to succeed, so they're afraid of trying, or if people think that it's a waste of time and they're really just talking like they want to do it. But I mean, I've only been making films really for 5 years, and I've gone from nothing to the trailer you just saw. And I mean, the movie's way better than the trailer, and I keep getting better. And if you can't make, let's say someone wants to make a movie, and it's like, oh, I can't get all this, these motorcycles and then this tank and this helicopter. Well, start with something small, okay? Because you're never going to get to the motorcycles and the tanks and the helicopter if you don't start with, some small little drama or a short film. And so I completely 100% agree with you, and like mad love, because people need to be, if someone's watching this video and you feel like you want to do something, like just fucking do it, man. Like just do it.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm with you 100% on that, man.
Just do it. I love that Shia LaBeouf video.
Just do it.
I'm gonna watch it again after this.
You know what? I think I will. I actually really like Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, me too.
And I think that if you look at, I mean, he did this one movie that was really strange, and Suburbia and Transformers, it's all the same character.
Yeah.
And I think he's capable of awesome acting. And he's like, oh, I gave up on the film industry. I don't even remember what he said, but I like him. I like a lot of the Hollywood underdogs, actually.
Yeah.
Like, I like Mel Gibson when everybody hated him.
No, and I think Shia did it right in that he cashed in on Transformers. He made like 20 million per movie or something. Yeah. So then now he can just, freely do his independent stuff.
Whatever the hell he wants. Yeah. Just put a bag on my head. Just with the birds on it, I'll just walk around, dude.
And
just do it video for some college students. Like, I don't care, man. Yeah, he's cool,
He's cool. Now, so last question, or maybe more of a request. Can you shout out your social media for your film and for yourself too? I want my fans to follow you as well. Follow your update.
So I mean, I've got a Twitter handle that I never use. That one's at Tristan Yoshi. Literally, I made this Tristan Yoshi thing when I was obsessed with Yoshi and Mario and Pokemon and whatever. So Tristan Yoshi on anything, you'll find me. I don't know if you want to follow the Beguiled Company on Facebook. There's that. Just Beguiled Company. I don't know if I should say what my. I mean, if someone searches my name, they'll find me on
whatever you're comfortable.
Facebook.
Yeah, you don't have. If you're not comfortable, that's fine.
Everyone coming up to my Facebook. I mean,
No worries. Just whatever you're willing to share.
People away. Like if someone wants to say something, like, "Oh, hey, ask me a question" or whatever. I mean, I'm pretty open. I respond to everyone that I can. You know?
Yeah, but definitely I will share the links to the Beguiled Company on the description box below this video interview, and make sure you follow Tristan's update online as well. And
Instagram's good too. Sorry, I forgot about that.
Instagram as
follow
well.
me on Instagram at Tristan Yoshi. Give me
Tristan
some
Yoshi.
of the part likes.
I love that. I love Tristan Yoshi. That's awesome.
I like used to draw Yoshis all the time. Like I picked up this thing in elementary school. My friend would do it, so I started doing it. And then I was obsessed with Kirby, and it just kept going on, man. I love Nintendo. That's why in this movie there's like so much Pokemon crap. It's just because I like it, and so I made one of the characters like it, and then it's everywhere.
And are you already in the process of writing your script for the next movie as well?
No,
okay.
and
So
here's
one
my thing
movie at a
about
time.
scripts. Here's one. Well, in my head there's like 10, but with Beguiled Company, like the script was it's just like the Unearthing. The script was half written, and I added a bunch of scenes, and I it's like, oh, like here's summaries of what happens, and that's because I just am like, okay, I'm just gotta do it now, and then it forces me into it, and I think, but no, I need to start writing the entire script out. I'm terrible at writing scripts.
Me too.
And then they're just like, I read a script and I'm like, they're like when I get on, I get jobs, they give me the script and I'm like I can't see any of this, like, and it's all these pages and all these words, and I'm like, well, I really need to like have the director explain what happens, because the scripts are just like, like they're so long and they're so like so everyone's like, don't write like descriptions and like stuff in your script, just write, this happens at it, and there's a specific way, and it's like, but that's so boring. Like, I read it, and it's just like, come on, man, like,
that's where the director comes in, right? That's where the director.
Yeah, and I mean, that's why I always am like, okay, the director has hired me to be the DP, and I'll be like, okay, walk me through your whole movie, and like, but I sent you the script, and I'm like, walk me through the movie, like, like if you have specific shots you want, like, draw me out the like some pictures with stick figures, if you have something specific. Otherwise, I don't know what you're thinking if you don't tell me what you're thinking,
Oh, I just thought of a final question here, final fun question.
Oh, sweet.
It's because you're self-taught, right? Now,
Yeah.
So which other filmmakers out there that you look up to? Maybe you've read their books, or if you studied their style, that you wanted to adopt their style with your movies. So who?
So I really have a lot of filmmakers I like. And I never try to adopt styles, but I will see things and be like, that was really good the way they did this, or maybe this could be done in a different way, or maybe I can take this and kind of spin it. And it's not like, oh, it's trying to copy this and this and that, but even like the Clockwork Orange thing, like it's more of like a direct reference to it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say something super unpopular here. One of my favorite filmmakers, and no one's gonna. A lot of people won't say this. I really like Paul W.S. Anderson. All right, he made the Resident Evil movies, which made me want to like. That was one of the biggest things that made me want to make movies. And people are like, I'm like, no, dude, they're okay, they're good. I love him. Mila Jovovich is cool too. I love those movies.
That's awesome.
Jaco Van Dormial, and I don't know if I'm saying his name right because I think he's a Belgian filmmaker. He made a film called Mr. Nobody, which is, I think, like when I saw that, it was the most amount of feeling any movie's ever given me. It related to me, so that's like my favorite movie. I really like Mel Gibson's films. He wasn't too popular a few years ago. I really like his films. I think he's a good actor too.
Yeah.
I'll say the stuff everybody says. Like, Nolan's films are great. They are great. Scorsese's films are really great. That's what everyone will tell you. David Fincher's a good director. I'm about to watch The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. I really look up to Matt Stone and Trey Parker.
Love them. Love them.
Films, but I love it, dude. I like probably like if I could meet any celebrity, and I have a long list of like a few, like they would be the people I want to meet.
Same here.
I'm missing some of my favorite filmmakers, but for me it's not necessarily like I will respect the director's work and I'll respect the director, but directors will make different stuff. Like, for example, someone could really like The Unearthing and be like, oh, I like the kid adventure coming of age thing, and then be like, watch Beguiled Company and be like, oh my god, these people are snorting coke and doing LSD and they're murdering people. I hate this. Like, what's wrong with this director? And they could have no idea that I made both the movies. It usually goes on like a movie to movie basis, I think. But I'll actually come into buy into The Last Jedi a little bit. I think Rian Johnson's one of our awesome directors too, and can't wait to see what he does. Particularly because I loved Fly and Ozymandias for Breaking Bad. Those are like my two favorite episodes.
Great episodes.
Right?
Yeah,
Everyone's like, I hate
remember
the
that.
Fly episode, and I'm like, well, that's because like you're dumb.
Dude, that the knife fight, that was amazing. You know, on the Ozymandias episode.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, the knife fight,
Like,
yeah.
Like, oh shit! Like
Oh,
everything's happening for real. Like
it
I
was
remember the
so
first
well
time I
shot.
watched that, I was like, okay, I remember the shootout from the last episode. And it was like,
Yeah.
boom! One of the first shots is Gomi on the ground dead, or Steve Gomez, and I was like, oh shit, he's dead. Oh wait a minute, like this is like the last 3 episodes. Something's gonna get really fucked up here. Like, oh no! And yeah, that episode was just like the emotional. That was like the best hour of television drama ever. Like
Yep.
I don't think anybody's gonna beat that. I don't think so.
Now, go ahead.
I could go. I wish I would have, because you asked in the email before. I knew you were gonna ask me which my favorite filmmakers are. There are just there's a few more that I just can't think of right now, but there's a lot that I really like.
That's fine, brother. Thank you for sharing. And I'm gonna share you my because I did video interview Paul W.S. Anderson a
What?
couple years ago. Yes, I'll share you the link.
Final chapter of Resident Evil.
It was for the anniversary of Resident Evil franchise. I forgot
I
what
have
year.
the steelbook, all
Yep.
the movies. I just bought it like last week at Best Buy.
There you
Oh
go.
man, dude, he's I once was in like this. There was this video chat thing, and they were like, you get to ask Mila Jovovich questions, and I was like in it, but like my webcam didn't work, so like right when I got pulled up, they brought me down, and I was like, no,
No.
no, it was just like that. I literally screamed no. I was like, ah,
You're like on your knees in the camera pan like 180.
yeah, like, yeah, he's good. He is a good filmmaker, even though people say his movies aren't good. They're movies, man.
No,
and
yeah.
he's not trying to make, some really deep, intricate, sometimes there are a lot of deep details I've noticed, but he's not trying to make, he's making a movie for you to enjoy.
Exactly.
Not for, you to sit there and be like, meh, 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 meh. Even though, okay, I gotta say this, I know I've been talking a lot. I have to say one thing about Resident Evil, the final chapter.
That's
All
fine.
right, they go back to the laser corridor, right?
Uh-huh.
So let's just ignore the fact that they said somebody else created the T-virus, although the wording, it could have been, the guy from Apocalypse or not, the guy in the wheelchair. But they go back to the laser room, and it's like, okay, they open up the bags, and I'm like, cool, it's the original laser room. There are the bags that Rain and the guy that's the rabbit in the movie.
I forgot.
Cap,
Okay.
and all those guys, and it's like, okay, there's MP5s in there. All right, so they've got some submachine guns, and I'm like, wait a minute. The whole premise of like that movie was they're stuck in there, and they had no guns and ammo. They had like a pistol, and I was like, wait a minute, they have guns there, and then at the they go into the room, and then the guy like tries to shoot, and he goes tick tick, and I'm like, oh sweet, it was actually he did think about it, but then it cuts to a flashback of her like looking at him like taking out all the bullets, and I was like, what if there were bullets in that gun? You all would have been like way better off. And the whole like what you're telling me they didn't know? Oh wait, we have more guns at the bottom of the bag. You're telling me they didn't think of that. That was one thing that I really can never get past, and it really bothers me. But it's
no worries.
They probably did that to make it say like it's just a movie. Stop, don't obsess. It's just a movie. So.
No, and I agree with you. That's why I respect Paul W.S. Anderson, because he is there to make like you said, enjoyable, entertaining action blockbusters. And if it weren't for the Resident Evil franchise, we wouldn't have this female badass icon in Mia Jovovich. And because femme fatale or female lead action stars are few and far between, so
I know they've been getting better, but Resident
Exactly.
Evil was 2002, and I mean they even brought back the zombie genre because nobody was making a big budget zombie movie. I think the next one was Dawn of the Dead in 2004 because they're like, oh my god, Resident Evil was successful, now we can make a zombie film.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mila Jovovich is a kick-ass actor. She's actually, if I had a list of people I could put in my movies, she's like 1 or 2 at the top, like has to be.
Great choice.
But she would be a badass, but not a badass in the sense of doing backflips and shooting zombies. She would be like somebody's mom. That would be like super like tough and strong, but like she wouldn't be doing crazy stunts. She would be like, like making shit good for her kids or something. Cause you look at her in the interviews, and I mean I don't want to like comment on her personal life, but she looks like she's a really good mother.
Yeah.
She looks like she's
a
and
really
I feel
nice
like
person.
that's a character she would play really well.
I agree. Well, thank you for sharing that, Tristan. I'm sorry our time is running out, but
That's okay. I talk too much.
No worries. But I appreciate your taking time to talk with me today, and this has been awesome. And for my fans at home, please check out the trailer for Beguiled Company, and we'll keep you guys all out there posted on its development, right? and Tristan's gonna also fill me
I'll
in
do the best.
whenever the premiere's happening, so we can definitely check that out next year as well. Tristan, keep doing what you do, my friend. You are an inspiration, and again, thank you, brother. Let's
Thank
rock
you so
this.
much. Hey, thanks for having me. I've been waiting for this all week. I'm very happy about it. Thank you. You rule, dude.